a more sustainable future.
Gusto mo bang malaman ang mangyayari sa kinabukasan? Gusto mo bang matiyak ang tamang kahihinatnan ng ekonomiya, seguridad at kalusugan? Edukasyon, propulsyon o anumang larangan. Halika, tayo'y magsaliksik, gamitin ang estadistika dahil ito'y mahalaga. Sa pagdating ng buwan ng Oktubre, ating ipagdiwang estatistika'y isa buhay, ating pahalagahan. Tamang datos ay kailangan, eksaktong figura o bilang, dahil bawat numero'y katotohanan. Ang estatistika'y kasangkapan tungo sa kaunlaran. Estatistika, daan sa kaunlaran. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, ating suriin mga problema ng bayan. Estatistika ay ating katuwang, magkaisa sa pagtuklas ng kasagutan. Saan ka man galing, ano man ang iyong kultura, halina't magsiyasat gamit ang estatistika. Magtambag, tumulong sa kaunlaran. Ikaw, ako, tayong lahat ay makialam. Halika, tayo'y magsaliksik, gamitin ang estadistika dahil ito'y mahalaga. Sa pagdating ng buwan ng Oktubre, ating ipagdiwang estatistika'y isa buhay, ating pahalagahan. Tamang datos ay kailangan, eksaktong figura o bilang, dahil bawat numero'y katotohanan. Ang estatistika'y kasangkapan tungo sa kaunlaran. Estatistika, daan sa kaunlaran. Estatistika, daan sa kaunlaran.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. In a short while, we will start the program with a virtual event etiquette video to be followed by the Philippine National Anthem and the invocation.
Let us pause for a moment to seek the Lord's help and guidance. Heavenly Father, with grateful hearts, we gather today to acknowledge your presence in our midst. As we embark on this journey of sharing of knowledge and collaborative learning, we seek clarity of thought and cooperation. We are confident that with faith and trust in you, the purpose for this event shall come to fruition. In 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 8, you promise to make all grace abound to us, so that always having sufficiency in all things, we may abound in every good work. We know that with your great power and might, we will be capable of accomplishing far more than we could ever ask or imagine. We pray that our presenters and guest speakers be able to share insights effectively, confident in knowing that they are sources of empowerment for all in attendance. We also pray for the attendees and participants' open hearts and receptive minds. May this forum be a transformative gathering that leads to growth and shared success. Grant that our interactions lead our minds toward innovation that can have valuable impact in our lives and work. We trust in your plans for this day and hold on to the promise that by loving you, all things work together for good. In your holy name, Amen.
Once again, good morning everyone. Welcome to the BSP's Public Information Campaign and the closing ceremony of the 35th National Statistics Month. From the Department of Economic Statistics of the BSP, I am Dave.
And I'm Anna. We are honored to be your hosts for today's event. This year's theme is Advancing Data and Statistics Through Digital Transformation, a road to an empowered nation. This highlights the crucial role of technology in enhancing the statistical system by improving the accuracy, timeliness, and accessibility of statistics.
Throughout the event, we will explore the generation of selected BSP statistics, as well as how advancements in technology empower decision makers and stakeholders to craft data-driven policies for our nation. Let us take a quick look at the topics that we will be discussing for today.
The speakers of this event will discuss the overview of the international reserves and overall balance of payments position statistics, the key determinants of residential real estate prices revealed through machine learning, the trends in digital payments, and the baseline Philippine Financial Health Index.
To officially welcome us to this event, let us hear the welcome remarks from the head of the Department of Economic Statistics of the BSP, Senior Director Redentor Paulo M. Alegre Jr.
National Statistician and Civil Registrar General Dennis S. Mapa, colleagues in the Philippine Statistical System and Government Service, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this year's Public Information Campaign on BSP-produced statistics, our annual activity for the National Statistics Month. The digital landscape has undergone a remarkable transformation in recent years, driven by technological advancements and perhaps even by significant global events such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Smartphones, sensory devices, virtual machines, and artificial intelligence. Digital tools and services that are prevalent in society and inextricably linked to our daily lives. With the use of these tools and services, we invariably generate voluminous amounts of data about ourselves, such as our likes and dislikes or our preferences. And when we analyze this data over time and relate it to other sets of data, we begin to develop a more holistic picture of who we are as individuals or as a nation. Once these data sets have been transformed into useful information through statistical or in quantitative methods, we now have a basis to make well-informed decisions and for governments and regulators craft appropriate socioeconomic policies that are geared towards improving the lives of its citizenry. The information derived from these digital platforms is so significant that it has been termed as black gold, or the new oil of this digital age. The theme for the 35th National Statistics Month, Advancing Data and Statistics Through Digital Transformation, A Road to an Empowered Nation, underscores the pivotal role of technology in improving the quality of our statistics and advancing our statistical system. Today, we have with us subject matter experts on the use of these new technologies in central banking operations, as well as on some statistics we produce. In this regard, may I encourage everyone participating today to actively engage our speakers in meaningful dialogue to get the most out of this learning experience. Before I end, I wish to share with you all a quote from Benjamin Franklin about participation and learning. He said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn." With this, I welcome all of you to this year's Public Information Campaign on BSP-produced statistics. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you, Senior Director Alegre, for the warm welcome remarks. We're truly excited to embark on today's PIC and to celebrate the closing ceremony of the 35th NSM.
Now, to provide us an overview of this year's Public Information Campaign, let us now call on the head of the External Sector Statistics Group, Deputy Director Maria Angelica B. Villena.
I am delighted to welcome everyone to our public information campaign on BSP-produced statistics and research activities. This event also marks the culmination of our country's celebration of the 35th National Statistics Month. Over the years, this tradition has brought together producers and users of statistical data to first promote awareness of the value of statistics to the different sectors of the society, and second, encourage working together to continually upgrade the country's statistics. This year's theme is Advancing Data and Statistics Through Digital Transformation, A Road to an Empowered Nation. Allow me to highlight two important facets of this year's theme. First is digital transformation, and second is national empowerment. Digital transformation. We are in this age where our way of life is being shaped by significant advances in technology, from cashless digital payments to personalized movie streaming, to using digital platforms to shop and book our rides, to name a few. Behind the successful evolution of these services that we now very much enjoy are organizations that stand committed to embark on digital transformation to elevate the value of its services for the people. Such transformation involved not only investing heavily in state-of-the-art technologies, but rewiring the organization, challenging the present, and changing the culture. Next is nation empowerment. Riding the wave of rapid technological advancements should not be without a purpose. In this event, we highlight the importance of continually enhancing the quality and availability of statistics using technology. Because statistics will always matter. Data do not just tell us stories. More importantly, the right appreciation of data empowers us to make well-informed decisions. This holds true not only for the policymakers, but to all sectors of society. Nation empowerment, after all, is our shared goal. For its part, the BSP continues to journey toward digitalization in furthering its mandates of price stability, financial stability, and efficient payments and settlements system. The BSP has been taking on various machine learning and big data initiatives to digitally enhance its operations and strengthen its research and policy analysis capacity. Enhanced communication and surveillance tools have empowered the BSP to better respond to emerging risks and take timely actions to avoid disruptions in our financial system. Furthermore, the BSP continues to foster the growth and development of digital payment innovations through enabling policies and regulations. As the country's economic and financial landscape becomes more complex, the BSP increasingly leverages on technology to produce data-driven strategies and promote inclusion. Today, in this public information campaign, we are more than excited to bring to you 4 interesting topics to be delivered by experts from different fields of central banking. The first is on the country's international reserves and measures of its adequacy. The second is on the factors that affect real property prices as determined through machine learning. The third is on the trends in digital payments in the country. The last is on the country's financial health index. 3 departments from different sectors of the BSP are participating in this event. First, the Department of Economic Statistics, or DES, from the Monetary and Economic Sector. Second, the Payments Policy and Development Department, or PPDD, from the Payments and Currency Management Sector. And lastly, the Financial Inclusion Office, from the Regional Operations and Advocacy Sector. Let me briefly walk you through what each department does. The Department of Economic Statistics is responsible for the generation of various economic statistics that are used in economic analysis and policy formulation. DES produces external sector statistics such as the balance of payments of the country, foreign direct investments, and overseas Filipinos remittances. It also generates various monetary, financial, and government finance data, which include the statistics on domestic liquidity, flow of funds, and the balance sheet approach. The DES also conducts business and consumer expectations survey and generates forward-looking statistics or leading indicators of economic activities in the country. Lastly, the department also conducts research and exploratory studies on the use of big data and advanced methods in data analytics and visualization to complement and supplement traditional statistical outputs. The Payments Policy and Development Department is primarily responsible for issuing policies and regulations, as well as implementing risk management system tailor-fitted to the Philippine payments landscape. PPDD collaborates with domestic and foreign stakeholders in promoting and sustaining the safety, efficiency, reliability, affordability, and inclusivity of the country's payment systems, and in driving the country towards digital payments transformation. The department also implements effective payments data management and analytics framework to support policy making, payments development initiatives, strategic planning, and monitoring. The Financial Inclusion Office analyzes financial inclusion and consumer empowerment data to support evidence-based policy making. The office creates policies and regulations that foster an inclusive financial system, focusing on areas like digital financial services and underserved groups, including the agricultural and micro, small, and medium enterprises. They also design and implement advocacy programs for sectors such as workers, farmers, youth, and PWDs, as well as provide technical and secretariat support to the Financial Inclusion Steering Committee of the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, or NSFI. FIO also works on the establishment of a credit risk database in the Philippines, which is a joint initiative of the BSP and the Japan International Cooperative Agency. In a few minutes, you will hear from the subject matter experts from the DES, the PPDD, and the FIO. As I conclude, allow me to bring us back to our theme, advancing data and statistics through digital transformation, a road to an empowered nation. Indeed, digital transformation is a call to embrace change and the relearning process that change brings. Change, however, is not without challenges. Still, our efforts to sustain digital transformation must press on as we all continue working together toward delivering high-quality statistics for data-driven policies and decisions. Let us cultivate an unyielding inquisitiveness that will drive our nation's progress. With this, I thank you all for your presence in this public information campaign and for celebrating with us the 35th National Statistics Month. May you draw invaluable insights from our experts today.
Thank you very much, Deputy Director Villena.
Before we dive into our topics, may we kindly remind everyone that there will be a question and answer session right after the end of the final presentation. Please feel free to key in your questions in the chat box, and we shall consolidate all your questions for the four speakers to respond to during the Q&A portion.
Now let us move on to our first speaker, Mr. Jonathan Leo M. Carpio. Mr. Carpio is a bank officer 4 at the Department of Economic Statistics' External Sector Statistics Group. He currently oversees the monthly compilation, analysis, and dissemination of the preliminary and final gross international reserves, overall balance of payments position, and international reserves and foreign currency liquidity statistics. He is also the overall consolidator of the country's BOP and responsible in the preparation of the technical write-up of the international investment position. He earned his bachelor's degree in economics and applied business management, as well as his master's degree in applied economics from De La Salle University.
He will be discussing the overview of the international reserves and overall balance of payments position statistics. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonathan Leo M. Carpio.
Good morning. I am Jonathan Carpio of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. On behalf of my colleagues in the Department of Economic Statistics, I am delighted to discuss with everyone an overview of the international reserves and overall BOP position statistics. To begin, we pose the question, what is international reserves? Reserve assets are those external assets that are readily available to and controlled by monetary authorities, in the case of the Philippines, BSP, for meeting balance of payments financing needs. As the term connotes, reserve assets serve as a standby fund to finance the deficit that may arise from the combined current and capital and financial transactions of the country. Being the lender of last resort, the BSP holds international reserves for the foreign exchange requirements of the country in case the supply of foreign exchange from domestic commercial banks falls short of the total demand. In extreme conditions, when there are no export earnings or foreign loans, reserves should be able to pay for the country's most immediate obligations, such as imports and debt service. Due to its intended use, reserves should be adequate enough to cover external payments on assumption that no other foreign exchange could be tapped. Next, for intervention in exchange markets to affect currency exchange rate, in particular, when the Philippine peso is under stress. Essentially, the BSP performs a balancing act to maintain stability. It participates in currency trade to prevent the peso from moving up too fast or from dropping too fast, as both could trigger adverse effects in the economy. In moderating the movements of the peso, the BSB does not favor one sector over another. Lastly, for other related purposes, such as maintaining confidence in the currency and the economy. By keeping price stable through stable exchange rate, the BSB help ensures strong and sustainable economic growth and better living standards. Next, by serving as a basis for foreign borrowing. By convention, reserves is viewed to be adequate if it can finance at least 3 months' worth of the country's imports of goods and payments of services and primary income. Another indicator of reserve adequacy is for the level of reserves as of particular period to at least provide 100% cover for the payment of the country's foreign liabilities, public and private, falling due within the immediate 12-month period. Next, how do we identify reserve assets? In general, only external claims owned by monetary authorities, such as BSP, can be classified as reserve assets. Next, it should be readily available in the most unconditional form. An asset is liquid if it can be bought, sold, and liquidated for foreign currency with minimum cost and time, and without unduly affecting the value of the asset. Next, it should be both denominated and settled in convertible foreign currencies. These convertible foreign currencies are those that are freely usable for settlements of international transactions and widely traded in the principal exchange markets, such as US dollars, euro, British pound, Japanese yen, and Chinese renminbi. Lastly, reserve assets other than gold bullion must be claims of BSP on non-residents. Now, let's proceed to the standard components of reserve assets based on the 6th edition of the IMF's Balance of Payments and International Investment Position Manual, or BPM6. Reserve assets consist of monetary gold, special drawing rights, reserve position in the IMF, currency and deposits, securities, financial derivatives, and other claims. Monetary gold is gold to which the monetary authorities, such as the BSP, have title and held as reserve assets. In the case of Philippines, the steady supply of gold from domestic sources, such as small-scale miners, paid for with the Philippine peso, enables the BSP to grow its reserves independent of external sources. The said non-economic transaction is commonly known as gold monetization. Next, special drawing rights, or SDRs. It is created by the IMF to supplement other reserve assets that are periodically allocated to IMF members in proportion to their respective quotas, which are based broadly on its relative position in the world economy. SDR represents unconditional rights to obtain foreign exchange, such as US dollar or other reserve assets from other IMF members. On August 2, 2021, the IMF Board of Governors approved a general allocation of SDRs equivalent to $650 billion to boost global liquidity amid COVID-19 pandemic. Members such as the Philippines may use the said funds upon allocation for its purposes, which includes importation of goods and payments of services like healthcare programs and a range of IMF operations such as loans, payment of obligations, and pledges. However, the use of SDRs is not without a cost. Members earn interest on their SDR holdings and pay charges on their cumulative allocation at the same SDR interest rate. For the third component, we have reserve position in the IMF. It is simply the sum of reserve tranche position and loans to IMF. The reserve tranche, that is, the foreign currency, including SDR, amounts that a member country may draw from the IMF at short notice. To use reserves tranche, a member may purchase foreign currency from the IMF with its own currency paid through the member's central bank account with the IMF, or by issuing promissory notes. Just like SDR holdings, the foreign currency acquired upon exchange may be used to purchase goods and debt servicing. Meanwhile, loans to IMF is defined as any indebtedness of the IMF under a loan agreement in the general resources account that is readily available to the member country, including the reporting country's lending to the IMF under certain arrangements. Next, currency and deposits. Currency consists of notes and coins that are of fixed nominal values and are issued or authorized by central banks or governments, while deposits refer to those available on demand or with a fixed term that are redeemable on demand or at very short notice without unduly affecting the value of the deposit. Next, securities. These are investments in liquid and marketable equity and debt securities that are issued by non-residents. Debt securities are negotiable instruments serving as evidence of a debt, which includes bills, bonds, and similar instruments normally traded in the financial markets. Equity, on the other hand, represent the owner's funds, which are investment in the institutional unit. Meanwhile, equity may also be in the form of shares in investment fund. These have a specialized role in financial intermediation as a kind of collective investment in other assets. So these are identified separately. For the sixth component, we have financial derivatives. These are recorded in reserve assets only if the derivatives pertain to the management of reserve assets, are integral to the valuation of such assets, and are under effective control of monetary authorities. Lastly, other claims. These pertain to other financial assets not included previously, but that are foreign currency assets that are available for immediate use. Now, let's proceed to the concept of overall BOP position. The overall BOP position can be estimated using two approaches: the change in net international reserves due to transactions, or the sum of balances of the current account and capital account, less the balance of the financial account, excluding assets or liabilities of the BSP. The latter is the more commonly known approach in presenting the overall BOP position. In practice, the two methods for computing the overall BOP position do not yield the same results due to data limitations, particularly in the second approach. The discrepancy between the two approaches is termed as net unclassified items or errors and omissions. Since the level of international reserve is based on a more rigid book accounting, the overall BOP position is determined by the first approach. To calculate the overall BOP position, we must first determine the level of the change in NIR. Deducting the BSP's short-term liabilities and liabilities to the IMF from gross international reserves yields the current level of NIR. Further, calculating the difference between the current and previous level of NIR reflects the level of the change in NIR. To generate the overall BOP position for the period, deduct the non-economic transactions such as gold monetization and evaluation adjustments from the level of the change in NIR. If the overall BOP is in surplus, positive level, the country is a net lender to the rest of the world in the amount of the surplus. If in deficit, negative level, the country is said to be user of funds and thus is considered as net borrower from abroad to fill in the shortage. For the recent developments, as of end August 2024, the GIR level reached $107.9 billion, bulk of which were held in the form of foreign investments, gold, and the rest in aggregated holdings of special drawing rights, foreign exchange, and reserve position in the fund. At this level, the reserves adequately covered 7.8 months' worth of imports of goods and payments of services and primary income. It was also equivalent to 6 times the country's short-term external debt based on original maturity and 3.8 times based on residual maturity. Historically, the BSP continuously maintains a healthy international reserve position that is more than adequate to finance imports and debt servicing needs of the country. Meanwhile, the country's overall BOP position boasted a surplus of $88 million in August 2024. This brought the year-to-date BOP level to $1.6 billion surplus. Based on prelim data, this cumulative BOP surplus reflected mainly the narrowing trade in goods deficit, alongside the continued net inflows from personal remittances, trade in services, net foreign direct investments, net foreign borrowings by the national government, and net foreign portfolio investments. For the release date, in compliance with the IMF's Special Data Dissemination Standard or SDDS, the prelim GAR are disseminated on the BSP website every 7th of the month after end of reference month. If the 7th day falls on a weekend or non-working holiday, the release date will be the working day before the 7th day. Meanwhile, the final GIR, NIR, and overall BOP are disseminated on the BSP website every 19th of the month after the end of reference month. If the 19th falls on a weekend or non-working holiday, the release date will be the nearest working day. For the data dissemination, the monthly press release and statistical tables may be accessed through the following links. That ends my presentation. Thank you for listening and good day.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Carpio.
We shall now have our second speaker, Ms. Carmelita Esclandalo. Ms. Esclandalo is a Bank Officer 5 at the Department of Economic Statistics, Data Management, and Analytics Unit of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, where she leads the big data studies using natural language processing, machine learning, and time series analysis. She also previously led analytics initiatives on national infrastructure and pandemic-related phenomena at the National Economic and Development Authority. She also teaches data mining and analytics at the University of Asia and the Pacific. Carmelita holds an MSc in Data Science from the Asian Institute of Management.
Ms. Esclandalo will be discussing the topic Decoding Residential Real Estate Prices, Key Determinants Revealed Through Machine Learning. Let us now call on Ms. Carmelita Esclandalo.
Good morning. Have you ever wondered where to buy your next home or what factors to consider in that decision? In this presentation, we'll explore how we can harness the power of machine learning to decode real estate prices. In a rapidly evolving market like the Philippines, understanding what drives property values is crucial for investors, home buyers, and policymakers alike. Together, we'll examine the key indicators that shape our real estate landscape and discover how advanced analytics can guide us in making informed decisions. So, how can machine learning unveil the key factors driving real estate prices? Let's find out. Real estate prices have a significant impact on various stakeholders, from homeowners seeking stability to investors looking for lucrative opportunities. These prices play a crucial role in shaping our communities and economies. Over the past 8 years, the residential real estate market has experienced an average annual growth of approximately 5.3%. Several key factors have contributed to this upward trend, reflecting broader economic and societal shifts. The Philippine economy's robust recovery in the third quarter of 2023 has instilled renewed optimism within the real estate sector, supported by low interest rates and government stimulus measures that have encouraged property investments. Additionally, rapid urbanization continues to drive demand for both residential and commercial properties, particularly in major cities like Manila, Cebu, and Davao, as individuals migrate to urban centers for employment and educational opportunities. Monitoring prices in the housing market is crucial because it influences inflation, financial stability, and overall economic health. Real estate prices, including rent and property prices, are critical components of the Consumer Price Index. Changes in the said prices can directly affect overall inflation rates. When housing prices rise quickly, people might borrow too much money, pushing prices even higher. If these prices eventually drop suddenly, it can cause major financial problems, like what happened during the global financial crisis in 2008. Also, housing prices impact overall economic health by influencing consumer spending, investment levels, and inflation, thereby shaping central bank policies and overall economic stability. The BSP closely monitors inflation trends, including housing costs, for better and informed monetary policy. If housing prices rise significantly, the BSP may raise interest rates to curb inflation and stabilize the economy. To monitor real estate property prices, the BSP developed the Residential Real Estate Price Index, or the REPI, which serves as an indicator of price changes of residential properties in the Philippines. The growth rate of the REPI measures house price inflation across various housing types over time. Leveraging machine learning techniques, we aim to identify key indicators that contribute to rising residential real estate prices. By analyzing historical data and market dynamics, we seek to uncover patterns and correlations that enhance our understanding of price fluctuations and inform strategic investment decisions. Our analysis will focus on 2 key questions. Number 1, what factors have the biggest effect on changes in home prices in the Philippines? can machine learning algorithms accurately predict changes in home prices? By leveraging advanced analytical techniques, we can effectively analyze intricate relationships among factors such as location, property features, and market conditions. Research has shown that machine learning algorithms like random forest and gradient boosting machines outperform traditional models in scenarios with sparse data or unique market conditions. ML models are also designed to be dynamic, allowing them to update predictions as new data becomes available. Ultimately, ML algorithms can model complex nonlinear relationships between variables. Published research has shown that algorithms like ensemble models can better capture interactions between property features, such as how location and amenities jointly affect property values compared to linear models. These advantages make machine learning a powerful tool for understanding the residential real estate market. With these in mind, the objectives of this study are to 1. Predict real estate prices using various machine learning models. 2. Assess the model's performance using traditional metrics and reliability to determine the most effective model for making price predictions. And lastly, determine the key factors from our dataset that drive real estate prices in the Philippines. For this study, we used data from the bank quarterly reports on residential real estate loans from 2016 to 2023. As per BSP Circular number 892, dated 16 November 2015, all universal or commercial banks and thrift banks are required to submit reports on residential real estate loans granted in the given quarter to individual households for the purpose of financing the acquisition of housing units and any associated land. These reports contain the following information: the location of the property, the type of the property, the information about the housing unit, such as type of house, appraised value per square meter, floor area, number of floors, number of bedrooms, and effective age in years. Appraised value per square meter and area of plot, total appraised value of the property, housing segment based on price ceiling as defined under the existing guidelines of the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, acquisition cost, and name of developer. Now on to the data pipeline. Before proceeding with the analysis, the data underwent pre-processing due to some inconsistencies in the RREL reports. These include dropping rows that contain erroneous information, eliminating highly correlated independent variables, and feature engineering, or the process of transforming and creating new variables to enhance the predictive power of the model and better capture underlying patterns in the data. After data pre-processing, we employed various machine learning models, including a traditional statistical method and a tree-based and boosting regression methods. Then evaluated these models to identify the best algorithms for prediction. Upon inspecting the dataset, we identified several errors and inconsistencies, including missing or inaccurate information. To avoid potential bias and ensure the accuracy of our analysis, we decided to remove the problematic entries. As shown on the screen, the dataset initially contained approximately 330,000 rows. After applying these necessary adjustments, we refined our dataset to around 302,000 rows, or around 90% of the original entries for our analysis. This ensures that our findings are based on reliable and relevant data. Then we remove highly correlated independent variables to reduce multicollinearity. We obtained the Spearman's-Frank correlation coefficients for each variable pair, which are shown in the correlation plot. From this, we remove variables that have a correlation coefficient higher than 0.7. These are house segment per square meter, ID, quarter, total value, house floor, house value, and province. In addition, we normalize the variables via logarithmic transformation and min-max scaling to ensure that the variables are on a comparable scale. Doing this enables the variables to become normalized, which is essential for ensuring that all features contribute equally to the model. Lastly, we created dummy variables in order to represent categorical data. This is done for variables such as year, quarter, city, or municipality, property type, and strata. At this point, let's discuss model development. These are the final variables we utilize for our modeling. For the dependent variable, we employ the log transformation version of the total acquisition cost. This figure represents the contract price or the actual selling price agreed upon between the buyer and the seller at the time the contract was signed or the deposit was made. For the independent variables, we included various characteristics of the property, such as the number of bedrooms, the age of the house area, lot value, and whether the property is new or foreclosed. Additionally, we factored in the class of the city where the property is located, as well as the year and quarter in which the loan was filed or reported. Importantly, we also included strata as a variable in our analysis. Strata refers to the data groupings used to account for significant differences across major locations and property types. By incorporating strata, we can better capture the nuances and variations in property values across different markets. In this study, we considered 7 machine learning algorithms. We have the traditional statistical machine learning method, linear regression. This models the relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variables by fitting a straight line. For our tree-based models, we use decision trees, random forests, and extra trees regressors. Decision trees regressors split data into branches between on-feature values, creating a simple and interpretable structure. However, it can be prone to overfitting. Random forest combines multiple decision trees to enhance prediction accuracy. Each tree is built on a random subset of data, and their predictions are averaged to produce a final result. On the other hand, extra trees regressor is a variant of random forest that introduces even more randomization, using random splits and data subsets. This often leads to faster training and improved performance. For the boosting-based models, we considered gradient, XG, and AdaBoost. Gradient boosting regressor builds models sequentially, where each new model corrects the errors of its predecessor, enhancing overall accuracy. Meanwhile, XGBoost regressor is an optimized version of gradient boosting, known for its speed and performance, featuring additional capabilities like regularization and parallel processing to improve accuracy and mitigate overfitting. Finally, AdaBoost regressor combines multiple weak models, typically decision trees, focusing on correcting the errors of previous models. Each model is weighted by its performance, enhancing overall prediction accuracy. Now let's go to the results. Overall, the random forest regressor excelled with an adjusted R-squared value of 0.77 and a root mean square error of 0.28, indicating strong predicting capability for property prices. Our analysis identified several key factors influencing property prices in the Philippines. First, house area plays a significant role as larger homes typically command higher prices due to increased demand for space, especially in urban areas. Additionally, lot value significantly impacts overall pricing. Properties in prime locations with good access to services and potential for development often see elevated prices. In the NCR, which serves as the economic hub of the country, there is high demand for condominiums, with prices driven by proximity to business districts, schools, and transportation. Finally, for single detached houses in areas outside of the NCR, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao, these homes are increasingly sought after for their space and privacy. This trend reflects the growing interest of urban residents in affordable housing options in suburban and rural areas. In the table shown, the random forest model demonstrates the best performance across most strata, with the highest adjusted R-squared value for single detached homes in Metro Cebu and the lowest for condominiums outside the NCR, Metro Cebu and Metro Davao. This disparity likely stems from the more consistent predictors influencing pricing for single detached houses, such as house area, lot value, and the number of bedrooms. The strong demand in Metro Cebu also contributes to more reliable data patterns. Conversely, condominiums in less urbanized areas may experience greater variability in pricing due to fluctuating demand, diverse building quality, and differing amenities. This uncertainty leads to lower model accuracy, as the market for these properties is less defined. Thus, the differences in performance highlight the stability of certain property types and their respective markets. In our sub-analysis, we found that for condominiums, regardless of location, the primary predictors of value are house area and whether the property is newly built or never occupied, excluding foreclosures. This trend likely stems from the demand for modern living spaces that offer contemporary amenities and lower maintenance costs, appealing to buyers looking for move-in ready options. In contrast, for single detached houses, duplexes, apartments, and townhouses, key considerations include house area, lot value, number of bedrooms, and house age. These factors reflect the needs of families seeking spacious, functional homes. A larger house area accommodates growing households, while lot value indicates potential for appreciation. The number of bedrooms is crucial for family dynamics, and house age influences preferences, with some buyers favoring newer constructions and others drawn to the character of older houses. Together, these insights highlight the varied priorities of buyers in the residential market. In summary, the random forest model demonstrated the highest overall performance, achieving an adjusted R-squared value of 76.98% across nationwide data. This indicates a strong ability to explain the variance in residential property prices. Additionally, its performance varied across stratified data subsets, ranging between 62% and 81%, showcasing its versatility and effectiveness in different market segments. On the other hand, XG Boost emerged as the optimal model specifically for the condo and Cebu stratum, attaining an adjusted R-squared value of 79.02%. This suggests that XG Boost is particularly well-suited for predicting the complex relationship in condominium properties in the Cebu area. Overall, these insights highlight the strengths of each model in different contexts, allowing us to leverage the best analytical tools for specific property types and locations. Finally, in consolidating the top predictors of residential real estate prices in the country, we found that house area is the biggest factor affecting property prices, as larger homes tend to sell for more, as buyers generally prefer more space, especially families. For condominiums, new units typically command higher prices because they come with modern features and require less maintenance. This makes them appealing to buyers looking for hassle-free living. For non-condominium properties, the value of the lot is also significant. Buyers are interested not just in the house itself, but also in the land, making lot value a key part of the overall price. More so, both the effective age of the property and the number of bedrooms are important for non-condo buyers. A property's age can influence how buyers perceive its value, while more bedrooms attract families and those needing extra space. In conclusion, this study leverages ML models for analyzing real estate prices and provides insights on the key factors influencing property prices in the Philippines, such as house area, lot value, and property age. This concludes the study entitled Decoding Residential Real Estate Prices, Key Determinants Revealed Through Machine Learning. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Esclandalo.
Before we proceed to our next two speakers, may we present to you some informative videos commemorating the 75 years of central banking in the Philippines and the BSP's vision of a future-ready Philippines.
An anchor of stability and growth for our economy and our people. This is Philippine Central Banking. Our policies and programs on money, credit, and banking touch the lives of all Filipinos. We keep prices stable to maintain the stability of our economy and the purchasing power of our people. We supervise a banking system that funds our economy and households. We regulate the payment system to make sure it is safe and efficient. The PhilPass, BSP's real-time gross settlement system used principally by banks, processed transactions worth 500 trillion pesos in 2023. The BSP also regulates digital transactions that now account for more than half of the country's total. We manage the supply, production, and circulation of money in our country. And we mount financial inclusion programs across the country to give people access to financial services that help improve lives. Overall, the BSP's solid performance helps create balanced, sustainable, and inclusive economic growth for our country. For this, we credit our central bankers, past and present, for their unwavering commitment to pursue our mandates.
2024 marks 75 years of central banking in the Philippines, with a legacy built on the integrity and wisdom of those who came before us. This is not just their story, it is ours too. Together, we shall make history.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or the BSP, has been an integral part of the country's development story as it works toward a high quality of life for all Filipinos. The mandate of the BSP are anchored on the three pillars of central banking: price stability, financial stability, and a safe and efficient payments and settlement system. In addition to the three pillars, the BSP also pursues advocacies to promote growth and prosperity for all. One of these advocacies is digitalization. The BSP is facilitating the shift from a cash-heavy to a cash-light society that enables every Filipino to reap the benefits of a digital economy. At the same time, the BSP promotes cybersecurity to protect financial consumers from cyber threats and maintain the public's trust and confidence in digital financial services. The BSP also champions sustainability. Through the issuance of relevant regulations, the BSP enjoins financial institutions to integrate environmental, social, and governance, or ESG standards in their policies and programs, such as funding green infrastructure and initiatives. The BSP also walks the talk with its Sustainable Central Banking Program, which incorporates ESG principles into its own operations. The BSP also strongly advocates financial inclusion. By promoting financial inclusion, the BSP helps ensure that Filipinos build their financial literacy and have access to a wide range of financial products and services. This will help Filipinos from different walks of life to better manage their finances, transact safely and conveniently, and make sound financial decisions. The BSP's network of regional offices and branches ensures that the central bank's services are available wherever they are needed. Digital, sustainable, inclusive. This is the Bangko Central's vision for a future-ready Philippines. Para sa bawat Pilipino, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
Welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed the audiovisual presentations. It is always fascinating to see the power of visuals combined with information.
To continue with our PIC, let us have our next speaker, Ms. Maria Cristina S. Masangkay. Ms. Masangkay is the Deputy Director of the Payments Data Management and Analytics Group under the Payments Policy and Development Department. She is primarily involved in the development of quantitative models, reporting requirements, performance metrics, and other analytical tools used to monitor digital payments adoption. Moreover, she is involved with bridging activities and programs among various payment systems of stakeholders to promote payments development with a primary objective of establishing various digital payment streams that would allow delivery of suitable digital payment products and services.
Ms. Masankai's work experiences include financial inclusion, financial market and liquidity risk management, and market research. She obtained her bachelor's and master's degrees in statistics from the University of the Philippines. She will be discussing from expectations to transactions, unveiling trends in digital payments. Please welcome Ms. Maria Cristina S. Masankay.
Good day to all esteemed participants. On behalf of the Payments Policy and Development Department of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, we are grateful for the invitation to engage in a discussion with you in celebration of the National Statistics Month. With the theme Advancing Data and Statistics Through Digital Transformation, A Road to an Empowered Nation, our discussion for today highlights valuable information gathered through different surveys and reports by the Bangko Sentral, particularly on digital payments and how this helped us in our goal towards a cash-light society with a safe, efficient, and reliable payment system. Today, we will look at the state of digital payments in the Philippines, specifically through the lenses of the Consumer Expectations Survey Rider Questions on Digital Payments. To begin, I will provide a brief overview of the topics we will cover in our session today. The discussion highlights the results of the Consumer Expectations Survey Rider Questions on Digital Payments as of the first quarter 2024. The results of the survey align with the recent BSP report on the state of digital payments in the country, validating the insights gathered on the progress in payments digitalization. We also share consumer sentiments on the barriers to payments digitalization, consumer expectations on the usage of digital payments in the future, challenges associated with digital transformation, and finally, the BSP's initiatives to address these challenges. Let us start our discussion with the status of digital payments in the Philippines. The status of digital payments in the Philippines showed promising improvements, notably surpassing the 50% mark in the transformation of retail payments to digital payments in 2023. Based on the 2023 BSP report on e-payments measurement, we have released last July 2024, 52.8% of total retail transactions in the country were conducted digitally, surpassing the target set in the BSP Digital Payments Transformation Roadmap. This is a very huge improvement comparing the first assessment conducted in the year 2013, which is merely at 1%. The increase in digital payments adoption is primarily driven by merchant payments and remittances, which accounted for 87% of total digital payments, 68% for merchant payments, and 19% for remittances. This aligns with the findings of the Consumer Expectations Survey released in the first quarter of 2024, which revealed that most people conduct digital payments for e-commerce, bills payments, and electronic fund transfers. 54.1% of the surveyed households made online payments for e-commerce, indicating a 6 percentage point increase compared to the same period the previous year. Furthermore, the survey highlighted that 48.2% of the respondents paid their bills through digital payment channels, while 41.2% conducted electronic fund transfers to an account. Next, presented in the slide are the consumption barriers to digital payments. According to the Consumer Expectation Survey, 70% of the respondents answered that the absence of a formal account hinders their ability to make any digital payment transaction. This echoes the result of the BSP Financial Inclusion Survey, wherein a considerable portion of the adult population do not have formal accounts. Additionally, significant number of respondents, 62% and 59% respectively, attributed their reluctance to lack of knowledge and lack of awareness in conducting digital payments. Furthermore, the survey also revealed that around 47% of the respondents have security concerns in making transactions, while 42% experience unstable internet connection in the past. That is why they have not engaged in digital payments. High fees also discourage the digital payments usage, which accounts to 34% of the respondents. These findings underscore the critical importance of financial inclusion and financial literacy in promoting digitalization of payments in the country. Despite these barriers, the Consumer Expectation Survey showed that more people are still willing to make digital payments in the future. In fact, 65% of the survey participants in the first quarter of 2024 expressed their willingness to adopt digital payments in the future, marking an 8 percentage point increase compared to the first quarter in 2023. The quarterly result consistently demonstrates a positive trend in respondents' willingness to conduct digital payments in the future, as shown in the top right chart. Among those who intend to continue using digital payments in the future, an overwhelming majority of 98% find it convenient to use. 91% of them appreciate the faster processing of financial transactions, while 86% recognize the cost effectiveness of digital payments. Also, 79% of the respondents answered that they will continue using digital payments as their primary payment method, and 73% perceive that it is safer to use when conducting payment transactions. On the other hand, two primary reasons were cited by those who do not see themselves conducting any digital payments in the next 12 months, which constitutes 35% of the respondents. Problems in internet connectivity and expensive fees are the main reasons for their discouragement, with 35% and 28% respectively. Other factors contributing to their discouragement of digital payment usage are the limited acceptance of digital payments by merchants and billers, low to zero awareness on how to use digital payments. Some cited experiences on delayed or unsuccessful crediting, fear of cybercrime and other security concerns, while others do not have accounts and some feel they do not need it. Indeed, malayo na, pero malayo pa. We have reached our 50% goal, yet survey results show that we still have a lot to overcome. And that is through having access to digital infrastructure, solving internet connectivity issues, affordable fees for digital payments, and widespread acceptance of digital payments. In overcoming these barriers, the BSP has been proactive in providing the enabling policy and regulatory framework that supports the digitalization of priority payment use cases most relevant to consumers, may they be individuals, businesses, or the government. We will continue to promote and grow the usage of PesoNet, InstaPay, QRPH, and BillsPay PH until they become the preferred mode of payments. Other payment streams in the pipeline will further support the person-to-business, business-to-business, and person-to-person segments, especially that majority of retail payments, or about 84.4%, are from merchant and supplier payments. Request to Pay will empower payees to initiate collections by sending a request to pay. It is expected to bring convenience in the collection of non-recurring receivables as the payees only need to authorize the request. The first use case, the InstaPay Cash-In, is scheduled for its full launch within the year 2024. Direct debit will allow customers to better manage their recurring payments, such as monthly rentals, loan amortizations, and insurance premiums, by simply authorizing the billers to pull funds from the accounts of the payers. This initiative is targeted to be pilot launch within the year 2024. Enhanced cross-border payments, or what we call Project Nexus, would increase the business competitiveness of the Philippine e-commerce, exports, and the international trade sector. It will also extend the benefits of digitalization to Filipinos residing and working abroad. The BSP is currently working towards linking InstaPay with the fast payment systems of our neighbors in the ASEAN. We recognize that while there is sustained increase in the use of digital payments, there are still gaps that need to be addressed holistically. Some of this may not fall squarely within the BSP purview. Thus, strategic collaborations with stakeholders, both from the government and the private sectors, are being pursued. This is the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us at ppdd@bsp.gov.ph. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Masangkay. For our last topic, may we now welcome our last speaker, Mr. Raymond Joseph Alibutud. Mr. Alibutud is a Central Bank Associate under the BSP's Central Bank Associate Program. As a Central Bank Associate, he completed his preliminary study on financial health in his first sponsoring department, the Financial Inclusion Office. He is now continuing his CBA program in the Department of Economic Statistics, his second sponsoring department. He completed his bachelor's degree in applied mathematics from the Ateneo de Manila University and obtained his master's degree in business administration from the University of the Philippines, Diliman.
To present the baseline Philippine Financial Health Index, please welcome Mr. Raymond Joseph Alibutud.
Good morning, everyone. I am Raymond Alibutud from the Financial Inclusion Office of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and I am here to present a study on the baseline Philippine Financial Health Index. To begin this presentation, allow me to briefly highlight the country's increased focus on financial health, as reflected in the 2022 to 2028 National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, or NSFI, with improved financial health and resilience as one of the strategy's 4 desired outcomes. To measure this desired outcome, a financial health index was identified as one of its KPIs. Insights on financial health were also gathered from a handful of studies in other countries, which include, but are not limited to, the United States, Brazil, Norway, Kenya, Vietnam, and Australia. While most of these country studies are centered on a local setting, similarities and overlaps arise within their respective definitions of financial health, which was also present in the Financial Health Framework crafted by the UN Secretary-General's Special Advocates Financial Health Working Group in 2021, which defined financial health as the extent to which a person or family can smoothly manage their current financial obligations and have confidence in their financial future. The working group named 4 elements: the day-to-day or short-term finances, resilience against financial shocks, future goals, and confidence and control of finances. The study built on the data gathered during the conduct of the 2021 Financial Inclusion Survey, or FIS. During the survey, respondents were asked on their level of agreement or disagreement with 10 attitudinal and behavioral statements concerning financial health. These statements can be realigned and classified under each of the 4 UNSGSA financial health elements. To generate a baseline financial health index, individual scores were first computed by summing up the responses to each of the 10 questions. Each question has 5 possible responses: strongly agree, neither agree nor disagree, and strongly disagree. Each response corresponds to a score from 0 to 4, with a 4 representing the best financial health and 0 the worst financial health. The raw score per respondent was then multiplied by a factor of 2.5 to set a maximum score of 100 points. The overall financial health index was then computed through a weighted average of the universe of eligible respondents, or those who were able to answer all 10 questions. Following the provided formula, the overall baseline financial health index of the Philippines comes up to 57.62 out of a maximum of 100. Broken down into demographics, we can see that women scored higher than men in terms of sex. Class ABC reported the highest index among socioeconomic classes, while Class E reported the lowest index. In terms of age group, the 15 to 19-year-olds scored the lowest financial health index. In terms of area, Metro Manila reported the highest index, while Visayas reported the lowest. Urban residents scored higher than rural residents, while farmers and agricultural sector workers reported the lowest index among classes of workers. Overall, the results of the baseline financial health index indicate that portions of the adult population exhibit middling financial health. Some key demographic segments that have shown lower financial health include socioeconomic class E, the farmers, the rural population, and the youth, or 15 to 19-year-olds. These demographic segments could be the focus of further studies or key policy interventions. And with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ali Butud. And that concludes the discussion session on the BSP's Public Information Campaign. Thank you to our speakers for their comprehensive and relevant discussions on the key macroeconomic data and indicators that aid us in closely monitoring our economy.
At this portion, we will be proceeding with our question and answer segment. So we would like to request the participants who have their questions to type your questions in our chat box so that we can answer them and ask them to our speakers.
All right, so we have gone over your questions. Thank you for sending them in. Our first question is for Mr. Carpio. Mr. Carpio, what is the currency composition of the country's GIR?
Good morning. Thank you for that question. In terms of currency composition, the country's GIR are held in US dollars, euro, British pound, Chinese renminbi, Japanese yen, and other foreign currencies. Historically, bulk of BSP's GIR has been consistently held in US dollars. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Carpio. We also have another question for Ms. Esclandalo. For Ms. Esclandalo, why did you exclude areas less than 6 square meters? Doesn't this mean that the model you came up with is not applicable to housing concerns of the poor? That your model leaves the poor behind? Or is a 6 square meter living accommodation too much of an outlier?
Okay, there are two primary reasons why we chose the 6 square meters. Number one, technically, as you can see in our slide, there was this list of variables. So we've shown the charts that are very much skewed. That includes the house area. So we need to find a way to somehow eliminate those outliers that skew our variables, as we also need to normalize it further. And in order for us to identify that, we need to find a reason. That's the second reason is legal. So we have the National Building Code RA 6541 that states that as a room has to be, or the minimum size of a room is 6 square meters or 65 square feet. So that's the main reason why we did that. Hope that clarifies. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Ms. Esclandalo. I think, Anna, we have a question here for Ms. Masangkay.
Okay, a question addressed to Ms. Masangkay. What are considered as digital payments?
So when you define digital payments, there are two factors to consider. First is the payment instrument use. So instead of using the traditional cash or check, you use either your account, so it could be a bank account or an e-money account, or a card, which is linked to an account. So the digital payments are using accounts to do the transactions. And another factor is the channel or the means on how you initiate the payment transaction. So when you use your mobile phone, because you use an app to do the transaction, your internet banking, or the point of sale terminal, when you go to the store and pay using your card, or even when you go to the ATM to transfer funds. So these type of transactions constitute digital payments.
Thank you for your response, Ms. Masangkay. We're actually having some questions being sent in right now, but we'd also like to inform everyone that in the interest of time, we won't be able to answer each and every one of these questions, but we would like to encourage you to keep sending them in because our team from the Department of Economic Statistics will continue to answer them even after this program. So rest assured that we will get back to your questions. We have a final question here, Anna, for Mr. Alibutud.
For Mr. Ali Butud, based on the current data, which element on financial health did Filipinos score the lowest in? And what steps can be taken to address this?
Overall, based on the results of the 2021 Financial Inclusion Survey, it came out that Filipinos overall scored the lowest on resilience on among the four financial elements. This cuts across all demographics and is nearly consistent across all the segments. With this in mind, I think the next steps would be to do further studies, examine the determinants of financial resilience, and given the context of the statements, which were based on attitudes and behaviors, we could also examine how these attitudes and behaviors correlate to financial resilience. In terms of interventions, I think it would be best if we focus on empowering our fellow Filipinos to engage and use our available tools to help resilience, such as savings, borrowing, and insurance. Thank you.
Thank you for answering, Mr. Alibutud. To conclude our question and answer, Mr. Alibutud, we also have another question for you. It seems like you're in demand. So for Mr. Alibutud, our final question, does the methodology for the Financial Health Index for the Philippines allow for comparability of our level of FHI with those of other countries?
I think in terms of the index computation, it's similar to what other countries have done, particularly the financial health or financial well-being index, as it's known by the Australia study, the one done by the Commonwealth Bank of Australia and the Melbourne Institute. However, I think in terms of localizing the CERT index, we could still improve to further streamline the survey to make it tailored toward the Philippine setting.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Alibutud. So again, for those participants who sent in their questions, thank you for sending in your questions. Please continue to, for the other participants, please continue to send in your questions so that we can continue to address them even after this program. So in the interest of time, we will now be concluding our question and answer session. Thank you again to our speakers for their presentations and insights and for responding well to our questions from our audience. We would like to remind everyone that the closing ceremony for the 35th National Statistics Month will follow shortly.
And now, to formally close this year's BSP Public Information Campaign, let us all welcome the head of the Monetary Policy Subsector of the BSP, Assistant Governor Zeno Ronald R. Abenoja.
A pleasant morning to all participants of this year's National Statistics Month closing activities. This year's NSM theme, Advancing Data and Statistics Through Digital Transformation, A Road to an Empowered Nation, highlights the transformative power of digitalization in the lives of all Filipinos. At the BSP, we embrace this transformative agenda. We are adapting and increasing our usage of cutting-edge technologies in the gathering and analyzing of information from which we tease out a myriad of economic insights. This effort has translated to the development of new indicators to improve our dashboards, a deeper macro and microeconomic surveillance methodologies, as well as a broader set of analytical and forecasting models. As a consequence, we have improved our understanding of the dynamics of our economy and the financial sector, and this has led to the well-informed formulation of policies and reform measures. Given this year's NSM theme, allow me to share some statistics on the adoption and use of advanced technologies and analytics among central banks. According to a 2019 survey by the Bank for International Settlements, 91% of these 35 central bank respondents indicated that business intelligence had become a key element in dispensing their statistical functions. Moreover, in a more recent BIS survey conducted just this year, January 2024, it was revealed that over two-thirds of 32 central bank respondents have already adopted generative artificial intelligence tools, with an additional 26% planning to incorporate it to their operations within the next 1 to 2 years. These findings highlight the increasing importance of these technologies and quantitative methods in central banking operations. Furthermore, the BSP's efforts to promote digitalization of payments are strategically geared towards advancing financial inclusion by ensuring an efficient, safe, and secure digital payments ecosystem that supports the needs of our stakeholders while also increasing the number of Filipinos who have access to financial services. Having said all this, one may ask about our data privacy and security practices. At the BSP, we ensure that we adhere to the Data Privacy Act as well as our own policies on data management, all of which are contained in the BSP Data Governance Policy of 2019. Rest assured that whatever data or information we collect and store is secured by the relevant technologies as well as personnel that are highly knowledgeable and well-trained, as well as the internal processes that we have adopted based on best practices. Before I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to encourage our stakeholders from both the public and private sectors to continue supporting the digital transformation initiatives and statistical endeavors of the government, including the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Lastly, I would like to thank our colleagues from the Philippine Statistics Authority, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, and other members of the Philippine Statistical System. My colleagues also at the BSP and everyone who contributed to making this 35th National Statistics Month a success. Maraming salamat, mabuhay kayong lahat, mabuhay ang bansang Pilipinas.
Thank you, Assistant Governor Abenoja, for that insightful speech. Indeed, advancing data and statistics through digital transformation highlights the essential role of technology in empowering our nation. It is inspiring to see the BSP's commitment on enhancing data accessibility and promoting financial inclusion. Together, we are paving the way for a more informed and connected Filipino society. Again, thank you.
So that concludes this year's BSP's Public Information Campaign. We hope that this event has increased the awareness of every Filipino on the significance and latest developments in the different statistics that the BSP offers.
Now let us kick off with the closing ceremony of the 35th National Statistics Month with a message from the Chairman of the Monetary Board and BSP Governor Eli M. Remolona Jr. His message will be delivered by the head of the Monetary and Economic Sector of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Deputy Governor Francisco G. Daquila Jr.
Deputy Governor Francisco G. Daquila Jr. previously served as the Assistant Governor of the Monetary Policy Subsector of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Before joining the BSP, he worked at the U.S. Agency for International Development and at the Agricultural Credit Policy Council. He also previously taught at the University of the Philippines School of Economics and at the De La Salle University in Manila.
He received his bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in economics from the UP School of Economics. He is a lifetime member of the Philippine Statistical Association and a member of the International Input-Output Association and the Philippine Economic Society, wherein he also served as the secretary and board member from 2005 to 2006. He is currently an associate editor of the Philippine Review of Economics. He has published papers at the Philippine Review of Economics, Philippine Statistician, Bangko Sentral Review, and BSP Working Paper Series, as well as chapters in several publications of the BSP.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome the head of the monetary and economic sector of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Deputy Governor Francisco G. Daquila Jr.
Good day to everyone. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas joins the statistical community in celebrating the 35th National Statistics Month. We congratulate the Philippine Statistics Authority for leading this yearly occasion that highlights the role of the country's statistical system as a pillar of strength for the Philippine economy. Since 2001, the BSP has been hosting the NSM's closing ceremony as a testament to its unwavering support in promoting accurate and accessible statistical information across the country. This year's theme, Advancing Data and Statistics Through Digital Transformation, A Road to an Empowered Nation, emphasizes the transformative mindset necessary to serve today's digitally empowered society. This resonates well with the BSP's commitment to go digital as it upgrades its systems and processes to produce quality data and provide relevant information that addresses the needs of its stakeholders. As both producers and users of statistics in the country's data ecosystem, let us continue to leverage on innovative tools towards evidence-based and data-backed policies, which support sound decisions for greater resiliency, sustainability, and inclusivity. Together, let us embark on this digital journey with teamwork, innovation, and foresight toward a future-ready statistical industry and better-informed Filipino citizenry. Mabuhay tayong lahat!
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor Daquila. Certainly, celebrating the National Statistics Month is significant as it promotes awareness and appreciation on the value of statistics in our daily lives.
Definitely, the NSM has been a venue for engaging and recognizing our stakeholders for their assistance and contribution in the constant development and improvement of Philippine statistics. And we've celebrated that through years, starting with the first NSM celebration in 1990.
We shall now proceed with the awarding ceremony for the 35th NSM Awards. The NSM award system was established in 2002 to recognize government organizations, private institutions, regions, youth groups, and local government units with outstanding participation in the NSM celebration and remarkable involvement in advocating statistics.
Further, the NSM award system provides incentives to participating individuals and agencies in the observance of the NSM and to encourage broader participation and promote the conduct of activities that will further pursue the objectives of the NSM.
The NSM Awards will be followed by the awarding of the NSM 35K Virtual Run winners. The NSM 35K Virtual Run promotes health and wellness by encouraging participants to set personal fitness goals through running, trail running, walking, or hiking, all tracked via an online app.
Awards will be given to the fastest finishers in the 5K, 10K, 20K, and 35K categories. Additionally, this initiative raises awareness and support for the NSM, highlighting the role of statistics in evidence-based policy and decision-making for meaningful change towards a better life.
Without further ado, here are the awardees for the 35th National Statistics Month and the NSM 35K Virtual Run winners.
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed to the awarding ceremony for the 35th NSM Awards. The awards are given to recognize outstanding participation of government agencies, regional offices, private sector, youth organizations, and local government units in the NSM celebration, and to further encourage them to be more active in their involvement in the observance of future NSM celebrations. This year's categories are the following: Best Statistical Activity conducted by a government organization, Best Statistical Activity conducted by private organization, Best NSM Region, Best Youth Group Advocate for Statistics, and Best Local Government Unit Advocate for Statistics. To start with, for Best Statistical Activity conducted by a government organization, for the subcategory Forum, the winner is... Congratulations to Second Provincial Multi-Sectoral Statistics Symposium, The Statistics of Healing by Provincial Government of Quezon. For Best Statistical Activity conducted by a government organization, for the subcategory Contest, the winner is... Congratulations to 4th Governor's Cup Infographics Making Contest by Provincial Government of La Union. Moving on, we are pleased to announce the winner for Best Statistical Activity conducted by private organization. For the subcategory Forum, this award goes to... Congratulations to NSM Symposium, Data-Driven Healthcare and Role of Data and Statistics in Improving the Country's Data Governance by Junior Financial Executives of the Philippines, St. Louis University. The next winner is for Best NSM Region. This award goes to... Congratulations to Region 6, Western Visayas. The fifth award that we are giving is Best Youth Group Advocate for Statistics. And the winner of this award is... Congratulations to Benguet State University, Samahang Statistika. And last but definitely not the least, for Best Local Government Unit Advocate for Statistics, the winner of this award is... Congratulations to Provincial Government of Guimaras. On behalf of the NSM Secretariat and the 35th NSM Subcommittee on Programs and Awards, we congratulate all the winners. Our sincerest appreciation to everyone who participated in this endeavor. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed to the awarding ceremony for the NSM 35K Virtual Run. The NSM 35K Virtual Run aims to promote health and wellness to the general public. This activity strives to raise awareness and support for the NSM, amplifying the importance of statistics in evidence-based policy and decision-making. The awards given to recognize the fastest runners who are also first to finish the 5K, 10K, 20K, and 35K categories. To start with, the top finisher for 5K category. The winner is... Congratulations to Adrian Celis of the City Government of Butuan. Our 5K top finisher completed the run in 29 minutes and 56 seconds. The top finisher for 10K category. The winner is... Congratulations to John Dave Landero of BJMP. Our 10K top finisher completed the run in 59 minutes and 27 seconds. The top finisher for 20K category. The winner is... Congratulations to Mark Dumasig of Pag-asa. Our 20K top finisher completed the run in 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 25 seconds. And last, the top finisher for 35K category. The top finisher for the 35-kilometer run and our first finisher for the 35K virtual run is... Congratulations to Jomar Huayang of the Philippine Statistics Authority, Davao del Norte. Our 35K top finisher completed the run in 4 hours, 49 minutes, and 25 seconds. On behalf of the PSA and the NSM Secretariat, we congratulate all the top finishers. Let's continue to run for an empowered nation.
Thank you and congratulations to all winners.
Now to deliver his closing remarks for this year's National Statistics Month, let us welcome the National Statistician and Civil Registrar General of the Philippine Statistics Authority, Undersecretary Dennis S. Mapa. Dr. Dennis S. Mapa served as the Dean and Professor in Statistics of the School of Statistics at the University of the Philippines. He also held notable positions in various organizations and projects such as the UP Statistical Center Research Foundation Incorporated, Philippine Statistical Research and Training Institute, Philippine Statistical Association Incorporated, and the Gas Policy Development Project.
A multi-awarded researcher, Dr. Mapa continuously conducts researches in the areas of poverty analysis, household savings, fertility, population dynamics, measuring market risk, and forecasting methods for volatility, which has won many awards. Aside from being a researcher, he has also written chapters for nationally and internationally published books and monographs in the areas of population, poverty and hunger, youth unemployment, and energy.
Dr. Mapa earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Statistics, 2 master's degrees in Economics and in Statistics, and has a doctorate in Economics, all from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome the National Statistician and Civil Registrar General of the Philippine Statistics Authority, Undersecretary Dennis S. Mapa.
To Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Eli Remolona Jr., Deputy Governor Francisco Daquila Jr., Senior Director Paulo Alegre Jr., officials and colleagues in the Philippine Statistical System, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good day. On behalf of the entire Philippine Statistical System and the Philippine Statistics Authority, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all of you for gracing this event today with your virtual presence as we conclude our 35th National Statistics Month celebration. This despite the fact that some of us may still be reeling from the effects of the severe tropical storm Christine and the emerging challenges from its onslaught. The Philippine Statistical System is one with all of you in prayers and efforts to rise above this recent natural calamity. Foremost, I thank the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, headed by Governor Eli, for hosting the 35th National Statistics Month closing ceremony, both at the national and regional levels. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has been hosting the NSM closing ceremonies for the past 23 years, and for 4 years now, the BSP's public information campaign has been serving as the culminating activity for the month-long celebration. Earlier today, we discussed topics as follows. First, the overview of the international reserves and overall balance of payments position statistics. Second, decoding residential real estate prices, key determinants revealed through machine learning, which utilize advanced machine learning techniques to identify the key factors influencing property values in the Philippine residential real estate market. Third, from expectations to transactions, unveiling trends in digital payments, which highlighted the results of the Consumer Expectation Survey rider questions on digital payments as of the first quarter of 2024. And the fourth, the baseline Philippine Financial Health Index, which aims to provide a key indicator for measuring improvements in financial health and resilience in the Philippines. The celebration of the 35th National Statistics Month, which marks a milestone for the Philippine statistical system, has been successful and filled with various interagency activities, both at the national and local levels. At the national level, the Department of Information and Communications Technology hosted the 35th National Statistics Month opening ceremony at Luxent Hotel, Quezon City last October 1, 2024, which was attended by close to 200 participants. During the opening ceremony, the winners of the 35th NSM Media Awards and the Stat TikTok infomercial contest were announced. On the same day, the NSM 35-kilometer virtual run was also launched, which signaled the start of the run. The 7th Philippine Statistics Authority SAYS took place after the opening ceremony, with the National Youth Commission winning the contest. A series of webinars on statistical products and services hosted by the Department of Education, the Philippine Statistical Research and Training Institute, collaboration between the Department of Information and Communications Technology and the Department of the Interior and Local Government were conducted every Monday of October. Meanwhile, the fourth and last in this year's webinar series, hosted by the Department of Science and Technology, will instead be held tomorrow, October 30, 2024. Complementing the webinar series is the podcast series, which was aired every Friday with guests from the DICT, the PSA, and the BSP. Another successful undertaking was the conduct of the 6th Philippine Statistical System Outreach Program last October 16 in collaboration with the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. At the local level, various activities were held, such as the opening ceremonies in all regions, information and educational campaigns, data dissemination fora, statistical exhibits, trainings, workshops, conferences, contests, and other advocacy activities. Today, we also recognize the significant contribution of national government agencies and its regional offices, the private sector, youth organizations, and the local government units in supporting and promoting the use of official statistics. Congratulations to all the winners of the 35th NSM Awards. May you continue to contribute to our joint efforts to further enhance public understanding and appreciation of statistics in our country. I would also like to congratulate all the finisher of the National Statistics Month 35-kilometer virtual run. This activity not only promotes health and wellness, but also strives to raise awareness and support for the NSM, amplifying the importance of statistics in evidence-based policy and decision-making, ultimately contributing to a meaningful change towards a better life. As we wrap up this month-long celebration, let me take this opportunity to thank all our Philippine Statistical System partners from both the government and private sectors for their unwavering support in making the 35th National Statistics Month a resounding success. Let me also recognize the hardworking men and women behind the 35th NSM Steering Committee and its subcommittees, the Subcommittee on Programs and Awards, and the Subcommittee on Advocacy and Promotions, and our partner agencies in all our NSM events. Thank you and congratulations. Together, let's embark on a continuing journey towards transforming our country. By making data-driven decisions, we can build a more prosperous and equitable nation. We hope that you can join us next year for the 36th National Statistics Month celebration and the 16th National Convention on Statistics. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Undersecretary Mapa. At this point, we will end the Facebook Live. So may we request the Zoom participants to stay online for our photo opportunity.